As Christmas is right around the corner and Cambridge exam preparation can be just a little bit boring sometimes, I've decided to combine my two favorite things, Christmas and Cambridge exam preparation. So in this video, I'm going to give you examples of speaking answers, but they're going to be Christmas themed this time, just to fill your YouTube with Christmas spirit this December. Now, although this may just seem like a joke, I'm going to be giving you guys real Cambridge answers, model answers, so a structure that you can in fact use and copy with questions that could actually come up in your exam. So the answers I'm going to give you are ones which you could in fact give if you decide to talk about Christmas or your Christmas holidays in your Cambridge speaking exam. Meaning this video is ideal for those of you who are planning to take a Cambridge exam in January or February, or you want to get a much better understanding of the style of answer that you should be giving. Before we jump in, I would also like to add that if you're planning to take the B2 first or C1 advanced exam, or if you're a wonderful teacher who prepares students to take these two exams, I've created a course that gives you all of my Cambridge strategies, so everything you need to know to pass your exam and actually enjoy the process. In this course, I'll teach you exactly how to prepare for your exam confidently. I've included quizzes so you can practice, dozens of downloadable PDFs, and also a secret group chat so you can ask me questions whenever you want. I'll leave the link up here if you would like some more information or if you'd like to join us. Now, as this video is Christmas themed, I'm going to ask you guys what your absolute favorite Christmas tradition is. Mine personally is pulling Christmas crackers, which is a very English thing to do, and I'm very excited to learn about yours. Now, by interacting with this video, like writing a comment, liking this video, subscribing to this channel so you always get access to this content is a great way to help this video become more visible to more people. So if you do just one tiny thing to interact with this video, you'll really be making my little heart very happy. If you don't know me already, I'm Izzy from English with Izzy. Let's dive right in. We're going to start by having a look first at some speaking part 1 answers, and towards the end of the video we'll have a look at some different writing exam tasks, and I'll show you ways that you can incorporate the theme of Christmas into your writing. So let's start with this typical speaking part 1 question. Imagine the examiners ask you, have you celebrated anything recently? Have a look at this model answer. Well, it's funny you asked me that, as I recently celebrated this festive season with my loved ones. We decorated our home with twinkling lights, indulged in scrumptious Christmas treats. My favorite was the Christmas pudding, and we exchanged heartfelt presents. The cozy atmosphere and merry laughter made it a truly magical holiday experience. Now, if you're like me and you absolutely love Christmas, you love talking about Christmas, and are still excited about Christmas in your Cambridge English exam, then this would be an ideal or a model speaking answer. But what makes it so good? Well, as you can see, we start the phrase here with a really natural speaking phrase, something that a native speaker would say in everyday conversation, right? Which makes it really good in our speaking answer. I'll also drop the link here for my PDF of speaking phrases, which includes dozens of phrases that you can use in your B2 first or C1 speaking advanced exam, including this one. Another thing that makes it good is I directly answered the question, right? They asked me if I have celebrated anything, and the holiday or the event that I mentioned was Christmas. Then I go on to give extra information to expand on or explain my point in more detail. Plus, as you can see, I've included lots of Christmas-related vocabulary throughout, a lot of advanced vocabulary, more specifically, like heartfelt, scrumptious, which means really delicious, yummy, Christmas treats, twinkling, meaning bright and sparkly lights. So I've dotted these words throughout as well to show the examiners I have a good range of vocabulary. So remember, include a natural speaking phrase at the beginning, make your point crystal clear and give extra information, and have a bit of fun with the vocabulary too. Now let's take a look at the second question. Have you got any hobbies? Well, this model answer says, I've been thinking a lot about my hobbies recently, and I must admit that the one I get the most joy out of is shopping, which proved useful during the Christmas holidays as I had a number of gifts to pick out and pop under the Christmas tree. So again, if you like shopping and want to talk about Christmas, then there are always ways to incorporate things that you love into your answers. Plus, it's good to talk about your passions because in general, we speak more naturally and more comfortably when we are familiar with the topic. So again, I started with a natural speaking phrase, right? I've been thinking a lot about my hobbies recently. This might not be true, but it doesn't matter because it sounds good. And then I go on to make my point to directly answer the question, which is, I get the most joy out of shopping. And then I give extra information. And this is where the Christmas theme comes in, right? I said, this proved useful. So I used some advanced vocabulary. I didn't simply say this was useful. Instead of saying lots of presents, I said a number of gifts. Instead of saying to put them under the tree, I used a slightly more colloquial verb. I love this verb, to pop, which means to put something quickly, to pop under the tree. So again, I'm using a range of vocabulary. I'm using Christmas vocabulary, like Christmas holidays, Christmas tree, and I am going straight to the point and answering my question, giving extra information. Let's have a look at this third question here. Are there any interesting places to go where you live? So I've said, in all honesty, my hometown can be a bit of a bore, except at Christmas time, because you can go for a skate at the pop-up ice rink and you can have a sip of mulled wine at the Christmas market. So lots to do at this time of year. Now again, I wanted to talk about Christmas because I absolutely love Christmas, but obviously you can answer this question however you wish, right? You can talk about other things that you can do in your hometown, but I decided to make this answer a little bit more interesting. I started first with a natural speaking phrase, in all honesty, which also helps me create a nice and organized answer. And then I gave an introduction to the rest of my answer, right? I said, well, my hometown can be boring, but there are these fun things to do. So that was a natural way for me to introduce the next things I was going to say. And again, I use this as an opportunity to showcase my advanced vocabulary and my Christmas vocabulary, right? I said you can go for a skate, which is the same as say to go ice skating, but I wrote it in a more natural way, a more informal way. I mentioned an ice rink, but not simply an ice rink, a pop-up ice rink. So one that's maybe only available for a short period of time. It's not permanent, it's temporary. And instead of saying you can drink some wine, I used a synonym of drink, to sip, which is like this. Mulled wine, meaning that nice, warm, Christmassy wine which has spices inside. So again, I'm using some advanced Christmas vocabulary here at the Christmas market. So lots to do at this time of year. And I've got a nice phrase to end my sentence. So these answers are not too long, as you can see. You want them to sound natural, as if you're speaking, but I'm just showing you that if you absolutely love Christmas, like I do, maybe you notice my, well, I wouldn't call this an ugly Christmas jumper. I should probably invest in a really ugly one to really get into the Christmas spirit. Then there are always ways to talk about what you love if the question, of course, allows you to do so. And let's have a look at this last one here. Who is more important to you, your friends or your family? And I said, well, I'd say they're both of equal importance, but each of them are needed at different times. So for instance, my family just now at Christmas time was irreplaceable. But could I have gone out for pre-Christmas cocktails with my grandparents? Well, I don't think they would have been up for it. So I started my answer with a natural and informal word, right, to introduce my answer. I said, well, before I just jumped into my answer. And then I made it really clear what my opinion is. I'd say they're both of equal importance, and then I go on to explain why. So again, you can see the recurring theme in all of these answers. I've talked about Christmas, and I defended my argument that at Christmas time, nothing could replace my family. They were irreplaceable. So again, using nice advanced vocabulary here. And then I threw a bit of humor in there because I like to have fun. And even if you have a bit of fun in your Cambridge exam, if that's what your personality is like, then I absolutely encourage you to do so, as long as your answer is appropriate and as long as you're answering the question, of course. So I then justify the other side of the argument and I say, well, perhaps when it comes to going out, it's more important for me to go out with friends because maybe my grandparents don't want to have a drink, more specifically, have a cocktail with me on the 24th of November, right? And also I've included some informal or colloquial phrases throughout, like to be up for something, meaning to want to do something. Now, when it comes to the writing exam, it's a little harder to incorporate the theme of Christmas unless the question, of course, specifically asks you to write a book or a film review, and you can specifically think of a Christmas-themed book or film. But if you do have the option to write a review and the task is quite vague about the style, like this one here, for example, your local film club is asking its members to write a film review to post on its website. Write a review of a film you have watched recently, in which say whether you liked it or not and if you would recommend it to other members of the club. Again, if you are a Christmas fanatic and The Grinch or Home Alone or Love Actually or The Holiday, if you haven't watched Love Actually or The Holiday, go and watch them right now because they are, in my opinion, the best Christmas movies you can watch. Then, of course, if you're familiar with these movies and you think you could write a good review, then by all means, go for it. So what I'm trying to tell you in this video is, if you can, talk about things that you really enjoy in your exam, if it's going to help you give a more natural answer and if you're going to be more confident doing so. In your speaking exam, the examiners want to see if you can speak, and if you have more vocabulary on Christmas or hobbies that you have and things that you love, then use this time as an opportunity to really show off that vocabulary. Anyway, guys, we have reached the end of our Christmas / speaking part 1 / a quick dive into a film review on the topic of movies. I hope this has been really useful for you. Again, I'm still curious about your favorite Christmas traditions, and I think one of the great things about you guys being here, about this international community, is that our traditions vary hugely, right? We all do really different things, and I really like learning about them. So pop them in the comments and let's learn about other people's Christmas traditions around the world. Now, if you are watching this video and thinking, oh my gosh, those look like good speaking part 1 answers, but I have no idea how to create my own, that's exactly what my Cambridge exam course is for. I created it because I was really frustrated at the low quality of lots of other Cambridge resources, and I made something that I wish I had had when I first started teaching, because it makes everything you need to know crystal clear. Again, I'll drop the link above now if you need to get more confident when it comes to Cambridge exam preparation. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so that every week when a new video of mine comes out on the topic of advanced English or Cambridge exam preparation, you will be the first to know. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if you're watching this in December. And don't forget, stay curious, stay learning.